Hey guys, so tonight I'm gonna try to talk a little bit about the key of D and look at some scales and some fun things we can do as far as modifying it from major to minor and seeing how that changes our chords and also our scales that we do up here. So let's start with the super basics. Let's get our D major out of the way. I like this one because the sharps are pretty clear to see. There's gonna be two of them. We're gonna start on D. We're gonna have F sharp. That's our first one with the middle finger. Thumb goes under to that G, and then a C sharp and a D. Cool. So again, it works out pretty well because both those sharps are going to be where the long fingers are, and this is it in full motion. We get this. Awesome. Reverb's up a little high. Let's take that down. All right. So based on that scale, remember chords are always going to come from scales. So if we take every other note here, we wind up with this guy, and we get what we call D major. So D major, of course, is going to fit very nicely with the D major scale. So I would suggest, just kind of run that to where you're comfortable with it, and then you can try patterns or jumping around in the scale, stuff like this. Even just jumping around willy-nilly. But what you're hoping for here is that instead of regular Fs, we want to hit F sharps. And instead of regular Cs, we want to hit C sharps. So if you want to play the improv game, again, like you kind of just want to move your hand around. It doesn't matter if it sounds good, but you're hoping to avoid those regular Fs and Cs. Just get used to always seeing those black keys. And you'll hear it if we get that. It's like, oh no. Ah. Right, so those are the ones. All right, cool. So that's the basic stuff, just D major. All right, so let's change a couple things. If we take those sharps away, we're gonna get D minor, right? And then, right, it's a fun one there. This is the one that we actually call D Dorian. It's all the white keys. And you might say, hey, wait a minute, that's just C major, just shift it over. And you would be exactly right. Dorian is what's known as a mode of the scale. And that's a big fancy word for just changing your starting point. So basically we're taking the C major scale, instead of starting on C, just moving up one to D. So this is a fun one to play in. That's the one that most modern players are gonna use. Like if I see a D minor in a song, I'm like, oh, Dorian. Might do skips. Those sorts of sounds, that's it. Cool. And then as you think back about minor scales, basically whenever we modify something, we're rolling back a century or so. But the true minor, if you talk to a classical musician, they're going to see D minor as this. Where instead of B natural, we're going to have this B flat. It is a rather somber sound, right? That sort of thing. It sounds good. And then we could also make chords. So that sort of thing. Sorry, I feel like I'm going a little too fancy on some of these guys, but again, just to show you where these lead. So that's the basic run of it there. Now, the thing about minor scales is, again, there's all these little weird variations. So one of them, the way old-fashioned one, is called the harmonic minor. And it's basically the same thing, but when we get here, we're also going to add a C sharp in there. Those sorts of sounds. Same fingering, kind of nice there. But yeah, so again, the three types of minor. You'd have what I would call the Dorian, all white keys. This is, I should teach you the term. This is called natural minor. In the harmonic vocabulary, or the classical vocabulary, sorry. And then this is the harmonic minor. We have those two black keys right there. So major, Dorian, natural minor, harmonic minor. All little half steps that make the difference there, but they sure do count once we add them all up. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of run those all back to back. And I'm gonna start with the major, but I'm gonna also do a major chord down here. For all those minors though, I'm just going to do a D minor chord. So just up and down, just get used to the sounds. And I'll try to go super steady here. We'll go about 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3. Natural minor. Oh, sorry. Oh, God, sorry, I messed that up. Let's try that again. Sorry. All right, major first, then we'll do Dorian, natural minor, harmonic minor. Sorry. All right, here we go. So major, Dorian. Natural minor, same chord, B flat. Harmonic minor. Cool. So a little tour of all the D minor stuff. And then scales can be pretty rewarding to practice. Again, they're great for building up technique and stuff and just kind of getting the sound of like a set of notes in your ear. But let me get you one little bonus kind of step here that I think you'll enjoy and you'll be able to see. So again, one of the reasons I really love D major is that you can easily go between D major and D minor. Basically, when you're in the major sound, the sharps are on. When you're in the minor sound, the sharps are off. So one of my favorite sounds to kind of jam over is to take a D major, and a lot of times I'll add a seventh to it. This chord might be too much, but I'm going to show it to you all the same. So you can actually replace your thumb there with the pointer finger, and it might be a little awkward at first, but you can reach up and grab this C sharp up here. It's called a D major 7, and then it's possible to do a, if you take those sharps away, that's called a D minor 7, and the 7th refers to that. Yeah, we were talking about intervals. That's like a 5th, a 6th, a 7th. So they're saying the outside of the chord is a 7th. You kind of fill it in. So D major 7, D minor 7. So again, that's a really fun sound to play with. I'm going to show you this exercise just as triads, but if you wanted to, you could also get that extra note in there. It's a lot of fun. Cool, but the same thing applies with the triads. I'm going to take a D major chord and a D minor chord, just kind of going back and forth. And I'm just going to use 2 of those scales, the major one that we practiced, and then the Dorian. So if you want to improvise with these, it's a lot of fun, again, because like you're either thinking, hey, the sharps are in there, or the sharps aren't in there. And once you're used to doing the scale, you don't have to play the whole scale. You can start maybe on the F sharp is a good spot. So you might play something like this. Right? And then I'm going to go down, take the sharp away. So I like the 6-note thing. 1, 2, well, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just pick 5. Again, sharps on. It's like Karate Kid. Sharps off. Right? You can speed that up if you want. Sharps on, sharps off. And again, I'm not worried about sounding good. It seems like a strange thing, but I'm just trying to navigate sharps or not, right? And again, in my head, I'm seeing, hey, that's my scale. Those are the notes I can pick. Hey, that's my scale. Those are the notes I can pick. And there's a good back and forth to get started with these two, because again, like it's pretty, easy to track. Right? So not to be like, oh wow, look at me, but again, like, that's where it goes to from there. Is once you kind of get all those guys locked in, the keyboard is your oyster, so to speak. Cool. So a little more than I was planning on going over, but again, like just a little tour of those guys. Again, the reading thing can always be, that mountain is steep and rewarding, but the improv thing, if you temper the reading with a little bit of that, trust me, it's the fastest road to success. Cool. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you got any questions from that, and I will see you soon.